name's Taylor Goodwin. I'm the greatest comic since Superman. I just told my dad I want to be a comedian. I said, Dad, I think I can be funny. He said, son, you can't be serious. See, Dad always wanted me to be an athlete. He said, Taylor, why don't you try and break the javelin world record? I said, I think that's a long shot. He said, gold medal winning archer. I said, aiming too high. He said, you could be a sumo wrestler. I said, all slim chance. I even tried to play golf for him. I was on the golf course, someone yelled out 4. I didn't know what 4 meant, but I put 2 and 2 together. Does anyone else have a golf joke? I'm sure you could chip in. Golf jokes, I've got them down to a T. My friend said, what do you think of my golf course design? I said, I really don't like it, it's full of holes. I made my way to the DVD store. Have you ever wondered what would happen if you broke the first rule of Fight Club? It'd just start a fight. I've never watched Back to the Future, so I think it's about time. People ask me why I use so many movie one-liners, and I tell them, you can't handle the truth. I made my way to the park, someone stole my chair, I said, I will not stand for this. I was there waiting for my midget friend, he was tired, he apologised, but too little, too late. My other friend said he thinks he's a mime, but he couldn't say for sure. I made my way to the summer class. My teacher said there's no such thing as a stupid question. I raised my hand and said, are you sure there's no such thing as a stupid question? Everyone in my summer class is much smarter than I am. The guy who sits next to me is on a much higher level of Angry Birds. She said, I'm going to teach you everything you need to know about buoyancy. I said, whatever floats your boat. She said, I'm going to teach you about drowning. I went, well, let's not go overboard. She asked me to look up inferior in a thesaurus. Inferior, could be worse. She said, what are your goals, your ambitions? I said, I want to make a giant hollow cylinder. She said, that's a pipe dream. And then she called me zero. I said, I hope you mean nothing by it. I made my way home. My roommate confronted me. He said, Taylor, I think you have a trouble with boundaries. I said, oh, Dad, I was just pulling your leg. He said, you wanted to get a moat for the new house. I said, oh, I don't know, I'm still on the fence. That night, my girlfriend came over. She wanted to get kinky. I couldn't say no, I was whipped. She said, if you don't do page 9 of the Kama Sutra, I'm leaving you. I said, that puts me in a very difficult position. I made my way to the pub, sitting across from me, a paleontologist with a bone to pick. I was there drinking $1 vodkas. He called me an alcoholic. I said, that's a cheap shot. I tried to start dialogue with the man, a conversation. I brought up the Titanic, but it did not break the ice. I thought, forget him, I'm going to look for my in-between friend. Couldn't find him, looked high and low. My in-between friend said I was bad at analogies. I said, hey, that's like saying I'm bad at analogies. And then I went to the doctors. I found I was colourblind. It came completely out of purple. He said, you could have Parkinson's. I said, I'll shake it off. He said, you might be dyslexic. I said, I don't understand. He said, I'll spell it out for you. When you're dyslexic, spelling cab is as easy as ABC. I told him I was scared about being tall. He referred me to a shrink. My shrink said I'm a compulsive liar, but he's just jealous because I'm dating Miranda Kerr. Miranda Kerr and I are actually dating. She even gave me a nickname after her last name. She calls me Stalker. I said, Miranda, I'm not a stalker. I just want to follow in your footsteps. I thought I'd look for other ways, better ways to improve myself. I went to a poor judgment seminar behind a back alley in a crack den. I read a book about cooking with starch, and page 19, the plot thickens. I found out I don't have Tourette's, I swear. I always thought Harry Potter could have used a spell check. Did you hear about Dumbledore getting lost in a school? He couldn't find the staff room. I went to a concert the other day. I decided to crowd surf. I got carried away. I get angry every time I crowd surf. I was up in arms. And then I got into a fight with an armless alcoholic. He couldn't hold his liquor. Armless alcoholics, you can never lift their spirits. But armless people, you have to hand it to them. So I picked up the closest thing to me, a bottle of vodka and fruit, and I chucked it at him because I know how to throw a punch. After the concert I ran into Rihanna. She would not stop sticking bubblegum in my hair. I said, hey, cut it out. I said, Rihanna, what do you think's wrong with Chris Brown? She went, all beats me. Of course, Chris Brown tried to redeem his career, joined up with female artists such as Nicki Minaj, Brandy. I guess he figured, if you can't beat them, join them. Ladies and gentlemen, really, someone tonight should do a joke about Kurt Cobain and shotgun nod. Of course, I know how Kurt Cobain killed himself. I know, mind-blowing. I was only at the concert to meet up with my friends. One of my friends is obsessed with tomato sauce. I told him, this is the last time we catch up. He said, I think I have a stutter. I said, you can say that again. He thought giving drugs to animals was okay. I said, no, it's not, get off your high horse. He said, I don't understand cloning. I said, well, that makes two of us. He said, but I might clone my face. I said, don't get ahead of yourself. He said, will you see my Aerosmith cover band? I said, dream on. He said, will you see my Aerosmith cover band? I said, I don't want to miss a thing. All of a sudden, my phone starts ringing. A man answers. He goes, do you keep dialing my number? I said, I don't recall. He said, why do you always drop everything? I said, I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. He said, do you want me to feed you alphabet soup? I said, don't put words in my mouth. He said, I love helium balloons. I said, don't raise your voice. He said, I just learned how to give myself a massage. I said, don't pat yourself on the back. He said, I once had a traumatic experience with a jigsaw puzzle. I said, what happened? He said, it took me years to pick up the pieces. Ladies and gentlemen, I should probably tell you a bit about myself. A few years ago, I thought I was an angry dog. I was barking mad. I can't help but repeat things again and again, over and over, time after time. I spent my childhood on a hot air balloon. That's just how I was raised. My childhood on a hot air balloon, it wasn't the best way to be brought up. I could never decide if I wanted to be a chef or a fashion model. I kept chopping and changing. Eventually, I got a job as a cop until someone barged into my office. He said, did you spill super glue all over my firearms? I said, it wasn't me. He said, I'm sticking to my guns.